Did you say, I support compelled disclosure of political donations by wealthy individuals, but not by minorities? You've described yourself as a, quote, wild-eyed sort of leftist. Do I have that right? Well, strike that. Did you say, quote, Republicanism is an anti-democratic virus?
Welcome to Liberty. Watchtower, your front row seat to the pulse of American politics. Here, we cut through the noise to bring you sharp, timely updates, in-depth analysis, and bold commentary on the issues shaping the nation. Whether it's breaking news from Capitol Hill or grassroots movements making waves across the country, Liberty Watchtower keeps you informed, engaged, and ready to think critically. Subscribe and stay tuned. Freedom starts with awareness. Now, let's dive in. In recent years, judicial confirmation hearings in the United States Senate have increasingly become arenas where nominees pass statements. Social media activity and political affiliations are intensely scrutinized. One such high-profile and contentious hearing involved Dale Ho, a civil rights attorney and legal scholar nominated by President Joe Biden to serve as a federal district court judge in the Southern District of New York. Ho's hearing, like many in the post-2016 political era, reflected the deep partisan divisions in the Senate and broader anxieties over how personal beliefs, online expression, and ideological activism intersect with the expectations of judicial impartiality. Dale Ho is best known for his work as the director of the ACLU's Voting Rights Project, where he played a leading role in several high-profile cases defending access to the ballot and challenging laws perceived to suppress voter participation. As a passionate advocate for voting rights and a frequent public commentator who had a substantial presence on platforms like Twitter, where he at times expressed pointed criticism of Republican lawmakers and positions.
Did you say, I support compelled disclosure of political donations by wealthy individuals, but not by minorities?
First, Senator Kennedy, thank you for the gift of the notepads for my children. I really appreciate it. I don't recall using those words before, Senator. I do remember...
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I've got a bunch here. You've described yourself as a, quote, wild-eyed sort of leftist. Do I have that right?
Senator, I think I was referring to a caricature of the way that I think other people may have described me, not how I would describe myself. And I want to assure you that I understand that the role of a judge is to set aside whatever personal views that person may have.
I heard your testimony. Have you called Republicanism, well, strike that. Did you say, quote, Republicanism is an anti-democratic virus?
No, Senator, I don't believe I've used those words.
Okay, you're under oath now.
Yes, Senator, I don't believe I've used those words.
Okay.
I do remember saying last year that there was a loss of confidence in our elections that has spread kind of like a virus.
Right, well, that's a long way from calling the Republican Party an anti-democratic virus.
Yes, it's very different, and I don't believe I used those words, Senator.
Right. If you did use those words, will you pull down your nomination?
Senator, I don't believe I've used those words.
But if you did, will you withdraw?
It's hard for me to imagine a scenario in which I would use those words.
I'm just saying, assume it. If you said it, will you withdraw?
If I were quoting someone else saying it to describe that kind of sentence, I wouldn't be expressing my own views, but Senator, I don't believe I've ever used those words. I've represented.
Did you when you sent out those personal tweets about Senator Cotton and Senator Blackburn, and Senator Cornyn. Did you mean them at the time?
Without hearing those tweets, Senator Kennedy, it's hard for me to remember precisely, what was said or what I was thinking at the time. I do very much regret the tone that I've taken on social media from time to time. I know that I've crossed the line from time to time, and
When you crossed the line, did you mean it?
These past statements formed the backbone of the questioning led by Senator John Kennedy, RLA, during Ho's confirmation hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee. During the exchange, Senator Kennedy interrogated Ho about alleged past statements, including whether Ho had described Republicanism as an anti-democratic virus and whether he had made disparaging remarks about sitting Republican senators. Kennedy framed his questions as a matter of temperament, arguing that the country needs federal judges who are calm, impartial, and respectful of both sides, not angry or overtly political figures. Ho, in response, maintained that he did not recall using such inflammatory language, and he repeatedly expressed regret for having contributed to what he called the coarseness of public discourse through his past tweets. The hearing underscored a deeper philosophical and political debate. Can someone who has been an outspoken advocate or political commentator transition into the role of a neutral and fair federal judge? Should past activism or expressive speech disqualify a nominee, even if they demonstrate a clear understanding of the need for judicial impartiality? And in the age of social media, how should we judge a nominee's past tone or expression, especially when much of it may have occurred outside the courtroom? Beyond the specifics of Dale Ho's record, the hearing reflected broader questions about the politicization of the judiciary, the line between personal belief and professional responsibility, and how nominees are evaluated in an era when every tweet and soundbite can be weaponized. It also highlighted how judicial hearings themselves have become political theater, both for those seeking to expose partisanship and for those defending judicial nominees from what they see as bad faith attacks.
Without knowing the specific context or the specific tweet that you're referring to, Senator Kennedy, it's kind of hard for me to say, but
do you generally tweet things you don't mean?
Senator Kennedy, I would agree with you that Twitter has become a very coarse place.
I don't want to debate Twitter. Do you generally tweet things that you don't mean?
Well, Senator Kennedy, I've contributed to the coarseness on Twitter sometimes by pushing the envelope to break through.
Right, but when you did it, did you mean it?
It's hard for me to respond to that kind of generally, Senator Kennedy, without a specific
You're a smart
example.
guy. Sure you can. You either meant it or you didn't. You got two choices, door A, door B.
Well, Senator Kennedy, I know that I've pushed the envelope.
Okay, do you regret it?
I do regret it, Senator
Do you
Kennedy.
regret it because you didn't mean it? Or do you regret it because it might cause you not to be confirmed?
Senator Kennedy, I regret it because I think it's contributed to the coarseness of our discourse overall, and I think it would be better.
When did you have this epiphany that everybody has equal dignity and worth? When you were nominated, or
Well, I believe you're
including Republicans?
Well, I believe you're referring to my religious faith.
No, I'm not.
Senator.
I'm referring to your coarseness.
Well, the equal dignity and worth is a principle of my religious faith, Senator.
It's also a principle of morals and good judgment. I'm over. Mr. Ho, you're a smart man, I can tell. But I think you're an angry man. And I really have great concerns about voting for you. We don't need federal judges who are angry. We need federal judges who are fair and can see both points of view. And you said these things. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. Senator Feinstein.
Thanks very much, Mr. Chairman. The 4 district court nominees on today's panel come from a diverse background of experiences. You've worked